So there's this awards show happening in February. You know, the Grammys, that annual gathering where extremely wealthy musicians get dressed up like they're attending a Met Gala after party, pretend to be surprised when they win, and then thank God, their team and their therapist in that exact order. Except this year, something's different. Something's off. Welcome to Celebrity Rap Life, where the spotlight never fades. Comebacks are built from chaos, and every headline tells a deeper story. Like, subscribe, and stay locked in. Kendrick Lamar has 9 nominations. Lady Gaga's right behind him, and music experts are analyzing this fierce competition like they're sports commentators calling the Super Bowl, which, honestly, kinda sus when you think about it. But we'll get to that. First, let's talk about what's actually happening on the surface. Because on the surface, this looks like your standard Grammy drama. 2 massive artists, multiple nominations, media outlets writing think pieces about who deserves to win, as if art is a competitive sport where points can be tallied and someone gets declared the objective winner. Kendrick Lamar, the guy who literally won a Pulitzer Prize for music, which is basically like a physicist winning a Grammy, completely backwards and somehow more impressive, has 9 nominations. Not 6, not 7, 9. That's almost every major category you can think of. Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Record of the Year, probably Best Music Video for something visually mind-bending, and a handful of genre-specific categories where he's competing against himself because he's just that prolific. 9 nominations means the Recording Academy looked at everything Kendrick did in the past year and said, yeah, all of it. All of it is Grammy-worthy. That doesn't happen often. That's not normal. That's the kind of sweep that usually indicates either an artist having the best year of their career or the Grammys trying to make up for past mistakes. And if you know Grammy history, you know they have mistakes to make up for. Then there's Lady Gaga, Mother Monster, the woman who built an entire career on being unpredictable, artistically fearless, and somehow both avant-garde and commercially successful at the same time. She's got 13 Grammys already, spanning genres from dance pop to jazz to rock to film soundtracks. She's the musical equivalent of that friend who's good at everything and makes it look effortless while you're still trying to figure out how to properly fold a fitted sheet. Music experts, and we'll talk about who these experts actually are in a minute, are framing this as a battle. Kendrick versus Gaga, hip-hop versus pop, critical darling versus industry chameleon, the people's champion versus the Academy's favorite. Except, is it really? Here's where things start getting suspicious, because when you actually look at what Kendrick and Gaga do, they're not competing in the same lane at all. They're not even in the same parking lot. Kendrick makes concept albums that require college-level analysis to fully unpack. Gaga makes cultural moments that get dissected on TikTok and turned into memes within hours. They're both art, but they're art with completely different purposes, audiences, and impacts. So why is everyone acting like there's this epic showdown brewing? Why are music experts analyzing a fierce competition between 2 artists who represent completely different approaches to music? And if you're starting to smell something fishy here, if you're wondering what's really going on beneath all this Grammy hype, hit that subscribe button right now, because what we're about to unpack is way bigger than just 2 artists fighting over trophies. Let's talk about these music experts for a second. Who are they? What makes someone a music expert? Is it someone who studied musicology? Someone who's worked in the industry for decades? A critic who's reviewed thousands of albums? Or is it just anyone with a platform and an opinion? Because here's the thing about the Grammys that nobody wants to admit. They're not really about music. They're about the music industry. And there's a massive difference between those two things. The music industry cares about sales, streams, cultural relevance, marketability, and maintaining the illusion that awards means something objective. Music, actual music, cares about none of that. Music just exists. It resonates or it doesn't. It moves people or it doesn't. It changes culture or it doesn't. But the Grammys need you to believe that music can be judged, ranked, and awarded. They need you to believe that a panel of voting members can objectively decide that one album is better than another. They need the competition narrative because without competition, there's no drama. And without drama, nobody watches the 3-hour televised ceremony where they rush through 90% of the awards to make room for performances and commercials. So when media outlets report that Kendrick and Gaga are in a fierce competition, what they're really reporting is that the Grammy machine needs you to pick a side, get invested, and tune in to see who wins. But here's the twist nobody's talking about. The thing that makes this whole situation genuinely suspenseful is both Kendrick and Gaga know this is performance. They both understand that the Grammys are less about artistic merit and more about industry politics, timing, and narrative control. Kendrick has been nominated for 57 Grammys in his career. He's won 17. That means he's lost 40 times. 40! And some of those losses were genuinely baffling, like when To Pimp a Butterfly, an album that defined a generation and sparked nationwide conversations about race, identity, and systemic oppression, lost Album of the Year to Taylor Swift's 1989. No shade to Taylor, but come on, the cultural impact wasn't even close. So Kendrick shows up to these ceremonies knowing he might sweep or he might get shut out in the major categories while winning genre-specific awards. He knows the game. He plays it because he has to, because Grammy wins translate to sales, streaming numbers, booking fees, and cultural cachet. But does he need the validation? Absolutely not. The man has a Pulitzer Prize sitting on his shelf. He's already validated. Lady Gaga, meanwhile, has been playing the Grammy game since Just Dance dropped in 2008. She understands spectacle. She knows that half the battle is showing up in something memorable, giving a performance that becomes the next day's headlines, and maintaining her position as one of the industry's most versatile artists. She's strategic, she's calculated, and she's very, very good at giving the Grammys exactly what they want while simultaneously doing her own thing. So when these two artists walk into the ceremony in February, they're not really competing against each other. They're participating in a ritual, a very expensive, very public ritual where the music industry celebrates itself and tries to convince everyone that these awards still matter in an era where artists can go platinum without radio play and build massive fan bases without industry support. And this is where it gets genuinely interesting, because Gen Z doesn't care about the Grammys the way previous generations did. They don't need award shows to tell them what's good. They've got TikTok, Spotify playlists, YouTube recommendations, and group chats where music gets discovered, shared, and immortalized instantly. The Grammy voters are overwhelmingly older industry professionals who might not even be listening to the same music as the people actually consuming it. So you've got this weird tension, the industry trying to maintain relevance by nominating artists like Kendrick, who have undeniable cultural impact, while also nominating artists like Gaga, who represent traditional star power and crossover appeal. They're trying to please everyone, the critics, the fans, the industry insiders, the casual viewers, and in doing so, they've created this manufactured competition that doesn't actually reflect how most people experience music. Because here's the reality, someone who loves Kendrick's dense, poetic, socially conscious hip-hop probably appreciates what Gaga does, even if they don't listen to her music regularly. And someone who stands Gaga for her theatricality, vocal ability, and fearless reinvention respects Kendrick's artistry, even if they're not analyzing his lyrics line by line. The fierce competition is media-created drama designed to generate clicks, conversations, and viewership. It's not real beef. It's not even real competition in the way sports have competition. It's narrative construction. And the most suspenseful part? We're all participating in it, right now. By talking about it, analyzing it, wondering who's going to win, we're feeding the machine that needs this competition to exist. But here's the actual twist, the thing that makes this whole situation kind of brilliant in a dystopian way. It doesn't matter who wins. Seriously, it doesn't. Kendrick's legacy is already cemented. He's already in the conversation for greatest rapper of his generation, if not of all time. Grammy wins are nice bonuses, but they don't define him. Gaga's impact on pop music and culture is already undeniable. She's already influenced a generation of artists. She's already broken barriers. More trophies don't change that. The real winner is the Grammy brand itself, because every article about Kendrick versus Gaga, every social media debate, every "who do you think will win" poll, all of it keeps the Grammys relevant in a media landscape where traditional institutions are increasingly questioned and bypassed. So when February rolls around and they announce the winners, watch carefully. Notice who gets the big televised moments and who gets rushed through in the pre-show. Pay attention to which speeches get played in full and which ones get cut off by music. Observe how the narrative shifts depending on who wins what, because the Grammys aren't documenting music history, they're